Hello my scholars, welcome to my school channel where we are tackling the 2018 JAMB past question for physics. In this clip, we'll be solving questions 1 to 20. So join me as we tackle question number 1. A man walks 1 kilometer due east and then 1 kilometer due north. His displacement will be what? Okay, this is very simple to tackle. Okay, so we just have to bring out a diagram for this question. Let's produce a diagram. So we are told from the question that a man walks 1 kilometer due east. Okay, remember our 4 cardinal points. So if it is due east, this is what we have. Okay, so 1 kilometer due east. Then from that east, he then walks 1 kilometer due north. So from here, he walks 1 kilometer due north. Okay, very well. So 1 kilometer. So we can see what will be his displacement. So at first, just know this forms a right angle triangle. Okay. And this is the angle formed here. Let me redraw this properly. Theta, okay? So when we look at this, we can say our tan theta, to find the angle, okay? Tan theta will be equals to opposite over adjacent, okay? What's our opposite? That's 1. Over adjacent, okay, that's 1. 1 divided by 1, that is still 1. So tan theta equals 1. So to find theta, okay, theta will be, let me bring it down. Theta equals tan inverse of 1. And tan inverse of 1 is 45. That means theta equals to 45 degrees, okay? So that's 45 degrees northeast. This is north, okay, this is east. So we have 45 degree northeast, okay? Very well. So let's now find the distance here, which is the hypotenuse side. And this is a right angle triangle. So we can say, we can use the Pythagoras theorem, okay? That is hypotenuse square. Let me start with hypotenuse so that this will be more easier. I'm labeling this point here as arrow or as anything. So let's just have it as hypotenuse square, okay? Equals opposite square plus adjacent square, okay? And that gives us opposite square, that is 1 square. Adjacent square, okay? That is also 1 square. So hypotenuse square equals to 1 square, that is 1. 1 square, that is 1. So 1 plus 1, that gives us 2. So hypotenuse so to eliminate this, we have square root of 2. So basically, we can say the displacement of the whole journey of the man is his displacement will be this root 2, okay, the distance here, and this degree so this gives us our displacement. So you can see an angle of 45 is being formed here, and this represents the hypotenuse side. So when we scan through our option A is very correct. So we have question 2. The density of 400 cm cube of palm oil, okay, was 0.9 gram per cm cube before frying. If the density of the oil was 0.6 gram per cm cube after frying, assuming no loss of oil due to spilling, its new volume will be what? Okay, so now let's solve this. Remember that density equals mass over volume. Very well. So we can see that mass will be volume times density or density times volume, okay? So we can see that the mass here is constant because there was no spillage, okay? So the initial density before frying and the volume equals the final density and the final volume after frying, okay? So we'll just label this. So let's just rewrite this whole equation. That is initial density, initial volume equals to the final density and the final volume. Okay, so the initial density, we have 0.9 times the initial volume, which is 400, equals the final density, which is 0.6, times the final volume, which we are asked to find. So what do? Dividing both sides by the coefficient of the final volume, which is 0.6. Okay, so we would have V2 will be equals to 0.9 times 400, okay, times 1 over 0.6. Or you can say, for clarity's sake, we can say divide 0.6. Okay, so this means 0.9 means 9 over 10 times 400 over 1, okay, divided by 6 over 10, isn't it? So this, if we are going to change this to times, so that will be 10 over 6. So let's make it 10 over 6. Okay, so we have 3 here, 3 here, 2. Okay, 10 strikes out 10, 2 here, 1, 2 here, 200. So 200 times 3, that gives us 600. Okay, so when we scan through our options together, we realize that option B is very correct. Question 3. Natural radioactivity consists of the emission of what? Okay, at first you just have to identify what artificial radioactivity is. It is just you inducing a nuclear reaction, okay, just like you bombarding a stable isotope with a particle like neutron, okay. So the examples or natural radioactivity consist of emissions of the alpha ray, the beta ray, and the gamma ray, and these are the symbols of the examples I've just mentioned. So option C is very correct. Don't forget that the link in the description below takes you to the Myschool website, where you will be given further instructions on how you can get the Myschool mobile app or purchase the Myschool software so you can properly prepare for your coming exams. So we are tackling question number 4. Which of the following is true of an electrical charge, rather? So A, positive charge means deficit electrons. That means electrons are being given out, okay? And that is very correct. B, negative charge means excess of electrons. That shows that electrons has been gained. Let's take, for instance, a non-metal like chlorine, okay? Once it gains an electron to become or to obey the octet rule, it becomes negatively charged. So B is also correct. C, electric current means movement of electrons, just like the way ants carry leaves, okay? Electric currents are being carried about anytime there is movement of electrons, okay? So option D, all of the above. So when we look through all of these options, we realize that they are all correct about electric charge, which makes option D correct, all of the above. So do not forget to hit the like button, click on the subscribe button, and tap on bell notifications so you can get informed as we release the next video. Question 5. Which of the following does not describe the image formed by a plane mirror? Okay, so we should know that the image formed by a plane mirror, number 1, it is upright or erect, okay? It is left to right, reversed, or lateral inverted, okay? That is side. Then C, it has the same distance from the mirror just like the object. It also has the same size just like the object, okay? So, and we know that it is not magnified. It retains the same size just like the size of the object. Okay, so that makes option D the option we are looking for. So option D is not or does not describe the image formed by a plane mirror. Question number 6. We have this diagram. What is the resultant resistance of the circuits in the image shown? Okay, so we can see that this resistor and this, they are arranged in parallel to one another, and this is in series. Okay, so let's go to the board and provide explanation or solution to this particular question. So the resistors in parallel, that will be 1 over R, resistors in parallel, okay, equals, the first one is 2, that is 1 over 2. The second one is also 2, that is 1 over 2, okay. If you find the LCM, 1 over R total, okay, just put 1 over R equals the LCM, which is 2. 2 into 2, that is 1. 1 times 1, that is 1, plus 2 into 2, that is 1. 1 times 1, that is 1. Okay, so we have 1 over R equals 1 plus 1, that is 2 over 2. Okay? One over 1. Okay, when we cross multiply, we would have R times 1 equals 1 times 1. Okay, R times 1. So R times 1 is still R. 1 times 1 is still 1. So, okay, so for parallel, the resistance that we have here is just 1. Then for the series connection, we have 3 ohms and 4 ohms. So resistors in series will be 3 plus 4, okay? And that gives you 7 ohms. Very well, okay. So the total resistance, according to the question, the resultant resistance, okay, in the circuit will be the resistors in parallel and that in series, okay. That's, so for parallel, that is 1. In series, that is 7. So that gives you 8. Your answer is 8 ohms. So let's go through our options together. Option A is very correct. So we have question 7. Which of the following best describes the energy changes, okay, which take place when a steam engine drives a generator which lights a lamp, okay? So you know, for a steam engine, it starts with a chemical energy, then which is now used to convert water to steam, that is heat energy, okay? And that gives you a mechanical energy, that is the movement of the piston inside of the cylinder, okay, or the cylinder and the piston. Okay, so that is a mechanical energy, and typically or specifically that is kinetic energy, energy in motion, and that generates electricity for a generator to light up a lamp, okay? That is to electricity, then to heat, because your bulb, the typical bulb that we are talking about, can give off heat as it produces light, okay? So the best option that describes this whole process is option C, okay? From heat to kinetic energy, mechanical energy in general, to be specific, kinetic energy, okay? Then to electrical energy, okay? Then to heat and light, depending on the bulb, okay? So option C is very correct. Remember that you can ask your question right now. Just click on the link in the description below. It takes you to the Myschool website where solution providers are waiting for you. So let's tackle question number 8. Cathode rays are actually streams of electrons, okay, observed in a vacuum tube or in a discharge tube, okay? So just in summary, we can say cathode rays are streams of electrons. Option D is very correct. So, in case you have better steps or explanations to any of the questions we've tackled so far, please, we'd like to know. Use the comment section below, indicate the question number and the solutions you would like to share. Question 9. A narrow beam of white light can be split up into different colors by a glass prism. The correct explanation is that what? Okay, so when a narrow beam of bright light is being split up into different colors by a glass prism, this is referred to as the dispersion of white light, okay? When it moves from the air into another medium, which is the glass prism in this context, okay? The 7 constituent colors of white light, they are being formed, or they are being well observed, okay? And those are 7, they are 7 in numbers. That's the Roig beef that we have, okay? So just notice that the shorter the wavelength of any of those colors, the more the dispersion that they experience, okay? So the ones that has the highest level of dispersion, that is the violet color, okay? It's because it has a shorter wavelength. The one that is least dispersed, that is the red light, okay? Because it has a larger wavelength. So let's count through our options together. We'll realize that option C is correct. The correct explanation is that different colors of white light, they travel with different speed in the glass, because the speed of white light in air is different from the speed of white light in the glass. There is a change of medium, okay? So that means the speed will definitely change, and this affects their wavelengths like we've explained earlier. So option C is very correct. Question 10. Okay, so we have a pulley system here. Okay, so the diagram shown represents a block and tackle pulley system on which an effort of W newtons supports a load of 120 newton. Okay, if the efficiency of the machine is 40, then the value of W is what? Okay, that can represent the effort that is being put there. Okay, so now let's solve this using our whiteboard. Okay, that's our solution spot. Okay, so remember that efficiency equals mechanical advantage over velocity ratio times 100%. Okay, our mechanical advantage, that is load over effort. Okay, and our load is 120 from the question, and the effort is our W that we are asked to find. Okay, so then our velocity ratio from the pulley system, we can count 1, 2, the rings there, 1, 2, 3 at the top, 1, 2, 3 beneath, that makes 6. So the velocity ratio is 6. Okay, very well. Then our efficiency is 40. So let's plot this in and see what we have. So we would have efficiency, that is 40, equals a mechanical advantage, which is 120 over W, okay, divided by our velocity ratio, which is 6, then times 100 over 1, okay? So that is 40 equals 120 over W, okay, times 1 over 6 times 100. Okay, so we have 6 here 1, 6 here 20. Okay, so if we cross multiply, for the denominators we just have 1 times 1, that is 1, 1 times W, that is W. So we have W comes to this place, that is 40 times W equals 20 times 1, that is 20 times 100. Okay, so what do? We divide both sides by 40. Okay, 0 here, 2, this is 2 goes here, let's just have 20, okay, 2 goes here, that is 10, 2 here, that is 2, okay, we still have 2 here 1, 2 here 5, so what do we have left? Because 5 times 10, and that is 50 newtons. So when we scan through our options, we realize that option D is very correct. Question 11. What type of reaction is represented by the following scheme? Okay, so recall that fusion reaction means at least 2 atomic nuclei coming together to form a heavier one, okay? And in that process, there is loss or absorption of energy. And also, apart from forming another atomic nucleus, okay, or nuclei, sometimes the products can be more than one, they also form subatomic particles, okay, and this is one of them, and this is the energy we talked about, and this is the new nucleus that is being formed from the fusion of, this is definitely hydrogen. So option A is very correct. This is a fusion reaction. We have number 12. The amount of heat needed to raise the temperature of 10 kilograms of copper by 1 Kelvin is it what? That is heat capacity, option C, because heat capacity is the amount of heat needed to raise the temperature of a body, okay, by 1 Kelvin or 1 degree Celsius, okay. So while for specific heat capacity deals with a unit mass, okay, of that particular substance, okay, while for latent heat talks about the energy released or absorbed when a particular substance changes its state without a change in temperature, while internal energy is the sum total of the potential energy and the kinetic energy available or present in a system. So the correct option here is option C, heat capacity. Question 13. The electrochemical equivalent of silver is 0.0012 gram per coulombs. If 36.0 gram of silver is to be deposited by electrolysis on a surface by passing a steady current of for 5 minutes, the current must be what? Okay, so we recall the formula we had to use, which is the mass equals, okay, electrochemical equivalent, okay, times current, then your time, T, okay, from the question. This is the electrochemical equivalent, this is the current, and this is the time. So we have mass of the silver deposited, that is 36.0, let's just have 36, okay. Then the time is given in minutes, converting it to seconds, that will be 5 times 60 seconds, and that gives us 300, okay. And we have the electrochemical equivalent, which is 0.0012, or to standard form, this can mean 12 times 10 raised to power minus 4. Very well. So let's plot these values in. So at first, we are asked to find the current. So we are going to make I the subject of the formula, and that means that I equals M over ZT. Okay. So let's just log this in. So we have I equals M, our mass, which is 36, over Z, which is 12 times 10 raised to power minus 4, times our time T, which is 300. Okay, so if I want to convert this 300 to standard form, it still means 3 times 10 raised to power 2. Because 10 raised to power 2, that is 10 times 10, that is 100. 100 times 3, that gives you 300, okay? So just to make our answer simpler, okay? So 3 times 12, that is 36, times 10 raised to power 4 times 10 raised to power 2, that implies minus 4, 10 raised to power minus 4 rather, times 10 raised to power 2. This times changes to plus, okay, plus 2, and that gives us 36 over 36 times, okay, this is 10 raised to power minus 4 plus 2, that gives you minus 2. And this means 36 over 10 raised to power minus 2, that is 1 over 100. If we multiply it by this, and this can mean 0.36, okay? So when we divide this, because 36 times 10 raised to power minus 2 means 36 times 1 over 10 raised to power, because this minus means 1 over, okay? I'm just trying to show us the way around, okay? So, and this means 36 times 1, 10 raised to power 2, that is 100. 36 times 1, that is 36 over 100. When we divide this, we have 0.36. That is what we have here, okay? This is for clarity purpose. So 36 divides this is going to give us 100, okay? Ampere. That is the unit for current. So if we scan through our options, option B is very correct. Remember that we have provided you with tools that can help you better prepare for your coming exams. Okay, so you can just use the link in the description below. This takes you to the Myschool website where you can get the Myschool mobile app or get the Myschool software. So let's tackle question 14. Shadows and eclipses result from the what? Okay, this results from the rectilinear propagation of light. Remember that light from its source, it travels a straight line. So this is the correct phenomenon that explains this. So option D is very correct. So don't forget to hit the like button, click on the subscribe button and tap on bell notifications so you can get informed as the next videos are being uploaded. So we have question 15. Which of the following obeys Ohm's law? Okay, so any material that doesn't obey Ohm's law, we call them non-ohmic material. Okay, so an example of non-ohmic materials, they are diodes, electrolytes, semiconductors. This is because they do not have a constant resistance value. Okay, so from the option provided, the only one that obeys Ohm's law is just all metals. So option A is very correct. Number 16. Which of the following statements are true of isotopes? Statement 1. Isotopes of an element have the same chemical properties because they have the same number of electrons. This is very correct. Even generally for elements that have the same number of valence electrons, okay, they share similar chemical properties. Statement 2. Isotopes of elements are normally separated using physical properties because isotopes of elements, their chemical properties are very similar. So that is why we can only use physical property in this context, okay, to separate them. Okay, statement 3. Isotopes of an element have the same number of protons in their nuclei. That is correct. Isotopes of an element, they only have different atomic mass, okay, which is addition of number of proton and number of neutron. Okay, so accurately we can say they have the same number of protons in their nucleus but different number of neutron, which gives rise to a different numbers of the atomic masses. So statements 1, 2, 3 are all correct, so which makes option D valid and accurate. Question 17. In the diagram given, the hanging mass M2 is adjusted until M1 is on the verge of sliding. Okay, so the coefficient of static friction equals the ratio of their masses, the ratio of the masses of the force of static friction, okay, and the normal force. So that is just M2 ratio M1, that is M2 over M1. So when we scan through our option C is very correct. I believe you remember that on the Myschool website, several solution providers are waiting for you so that they can help you tackle your questions. So just use the link in the description below. This takes you to the Myschool website where you can get the answers that you need. So we are tackling question 18. Which of the following may be used to explain a mirage? Okay, a mirage is just an optical illusion. Okay, this happens during hot weather. Okay, probably on you seeing water in a ship when you are standing in a far place, probably in a desert. And also examples like probably you are traveling on the road and you see like a body of water somewhere ahead of you. Okay, this occurs when light, okay, moves from a region of cold air to a region of hot air through different air conditions. Okay, so refraction occurs, and that is why you now see things that looks like water or so, something that is not really real. Okay, this is just due to refractions. So looking at the options we have here, layers of air near the road surface have varying refractive indices in hot weather. This is very correct. 2, road surfaces sometimes becomes invisible in hot weather. They don't become invisible although mirage occurs. Okay. 3, light from the sky can be refracted upwards after coming close to the road surface. Of course, the road surface is hot and the layer of air very close to it is also warmer compared to the cold air that we have outside. So looking through all of the options, A, I and III is correct, so which means option A is very correct. Perhaps you will have a better explanations or solutions to any of the questions we have solved. Please use the comment section below. Indicate the question number and the solutions you would like to share. Question 19. In the diagram given, if the atmospheric pressure is 760 mm, okay, the pressure in the chamber G is what? Okay, so just look at this, is the depth here is 10 centimeter and here is 3 centimeter. So the difference is just 10 minus 3, that gives you 7 centimeter, you can see, in accordance with chamber G. Okay, so we have 7 centimeter, and if you are converting 7 centimeter to millimeter, that gives you 70 millimeters. So just add up that 70 millimeter to the atmospheric pressure of 760, and that gives you 830 millimeters. So option B is very correct. So don't forget that there are other methods we can use, but this is very simple and easy. So option B is correct. So we have question 20. Which of the following has the lowest internal resistance when new? Okay, so one thing we know of is that the accumulator has some advantages over primary cells. Okay, accumulator is a secondary cell. So primary cells, as we know them, the examples are this Leclanche cell, Daniel cell, and torch battery. Torch battery can be a dry cell of Leclanche cell. Okay, so accumulator here, it can supply current, okay, large amount of current over a long time with a small change in the terminal PD, okay, potential difference for clarity's sake. So the accumulator has very low internal resistance. So in comparison to all of the options we have here, option D is very correct. Now we've come to the end of this segment, but there is still more to come. I believe you are enjoying this sort of content and you would like us to bring you more of them. Please hit the like button, click on the subscribe button, and tap on bell notifications so you can get updated as soon as the next videos are released.